Hello, I'm Dave Briskie, and welcome to the 5th episode of Briskie Business. Really exciting program today, and as you know, the strategy of this program is to help you accelerate your business acumen and businesses. We're going to have a forum here each and every segment to offer tips and tidbits to help you understand the business process a little better, and we're going to do our level best to help you demystify the stock market. Any questions you may have, this is your program. Any topics you might want to discuss, just email them to me, please, at briskiebusiness@ntvUSA.com, and we'll weave you or your questions into one of the next segments. Last segment, we had Steve Wallach on the program, and he did a fantastic job. I have an amazing guest that I'm excited to announce very soon. Remember, Briskie Business is broken down into 4 different segments. We got Brisk's Business Basics, Brisk's Buy or Bail, Brisk's Bulls and Bears, and my favorite segment, Brisk's Best and Brightest, which is all about mentorship. This program today, I'm bringing on a very dear friend of mine, someone who I have a ton of respect for. This woman has such an esteemed career. She's all around fun. You know her early days from Taxi. She's a renowned author. She's a Broadway star. She's been in 60 movies, a dancer, a choreographer. She's testified 9 times in front of Congress, an unbelievable health advocate. Really, I could just go on and on, but it is my dear pleasure to welcome my friend Marilu Henner to Briskie Business. Marilu, welcome to the program.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here with you, Dave. First of all, you know that you and your beautiful wife, Lisa Sunshine, you're like one of my best friends ever. And I just feel like every time I'm with you, I learn so much about the business, and I watch how you operate, and you are such a star. And I feel always so honored to be in your presence. And now that you have a show and you've invited me to share some of my business sense with your listeners and watchers, I'm so thrilled. So thank you. I feel honored.
Well,
really.
I'm thrilled to have it, and you're embarrassing me. You're the star here. That's absolutely for sure. So I always open up the show. I grab a quick cup of coffee. I'm going to toast you today, and obviously we're in the coffee business, so you know coffee's near and dear to my heart.
Okay, well, I'm having water. I hope that's okay.
Yeah, water is good. Water is always good. So the first segment...
It's not vodka, it's not sake, because I know that, we can have those too.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with sake or vodka. Okay, so we're going to start off with Brisk Business Basics. So earlier shows, Marilu, we dug into the business plan, right? That's that first step that everyone has. And later show, then we covered the sales process. But that business plan is such a key piece. And what I want to do is bring you back. Now, you've got all this experience, right? But let's go back to the early days of Marilu Henner, however far back that is, that set you on path for your career in show business maybe, but maybe it didn't start off that way. So maybe that early memory of what got you on the path into your business world.
Okay, well, first of all, I was very lucky to come from a family of 6 kids and 2 very entrepreneurial parents. My father was in the automobile business and was actually a troubleshooter for both the Ford Motor Company and Chevrolet, and later Cadillac, later in his life Cadillac. And he would be the kind of guy that they would have him come to maybe a dealership that wasn't doing as well, and because he became the manager, and he'd come up with all these he'd have the Chicago Cubs there, because this was all in Chicago, or he'd have some kind of campaign or something to get the guys going. I really think part of my developing a good memory came from memorizing so many different phone numbers for my father's businesses, because every 6 months he was changing jobs. The longest he ever stayed at one place was 2 years. So that was my dad. My mother ran a beauty shop out of our kitchen, a dancing school in our backyard. We had art classes going on upstairs because my uncle was the art teacher from the Catholic grammar school next door. He also was the neighborhood astrologist, and he had a cat hospital on the roof. So I grew up in a family where there were a lot of different businesses, a lot of activity. My mother would charge money for the people to come over to dance or to do their hair. So I knew I wanted to grow up and be a business person. I started at 7 years old, believe it or not, being a babysitter, and 50 cents an hour, and all I could eat. And I would watch a 2-year-old. And by 11, I had other girls in the neighborhood working for me, working some of my jobs and giving me a commission. So I was always a little bit of the creativity of my mother and the business acumen of my dad. So I knew I wanted to be an actress, and I knew that I had to see myself as a business, because after all, it's show business. And I knew that I had to do certain things. You sort of follow a path, especially in the early careers. And my first jobs, I got my Social Security card at 14 and became a semi-professional actress and started doing theater around town. And that led to, my doing the show Grease when I was very young, because a friend of mine from community theater wrote the show and asked me to do it. But show business is interesting because you are the commodity you're selling. You're the one who has to be able to get yourself in enough shape to sell whatever that means to you, whatever kind of characters you want to play. You have to become your own business. And it's not like you're taking out your wares when you go to see people, you're taking out yourself. So you first of all have to develop a very thick skin. But I knew that I wanted to be a professional actress. I knew I wanted to do that. I knew I wanted to write books. And so the early stages were definitely doing whatever job I did, doing it absolutely as well as I could. And the first money I got paid was definitely as a babysitter in my neighborhood. And then at 14, I started teaching dancing lessons. Because when you were 14, my mother put you to work, you had a class, you had students, and it was your money. So I've supported myself since I was 14 years old.
So we have a bunch of listeners that are a younger set. They're this new entrepreneur, right? They're thinking about launching into business. And it sounds to me like you just jumped in with both feet saying, you know what, I'll figure it out on the fly. But tell me about, all right, so now you're 14, and as you progress, did there end up with some more sophistication into your business planning process as you got further along?
Absolutely, because you're always like thinking, well, how can I make this better? Should I charge more money? Should I do private classes for someone and charge a little bit more? Do I need any more supplies? I think it's such a fluid situation, especially in those early those early experiences, that you learn. You either grow or you die. So you have to constantly evaluate what is going on. How can I make it better? How can I improve my business sense and what I'm bringing to the party? As a dance teacher, I was teaching little kids and young teenagers, but I was taking ballet and tap and jazz myself, and singing lessons and acting classes, and paying for them myself because my parents didn't have the money. My father died when I was in high school. So I had to do it on my own, and I just had to have that, laser focus, that tunnel vision to say, if I'm going to be able to support myself as an actress and improve myself at the same time, I can't rely on anyone else to pay for it, so I better figure out something to do. So I always worked. I worked all of my summers in high school and college, and I taught dancing from September until the recital in June.
So obviously you said that you were interested in becoming an actress, which is really cool, because I think a lot of people at a young age, they really don't know what they're doing, but you were really into that whole scene, right? That was something you knew was right, and you were brought up in it. And somehow you land this incredible sitcom that everyone obviously, I'm sure you get asked about it all the time, which was in Taxi. But tell me about the process of getting that. I can't imagine that was just somebody showed up and said, congratulations, you're hired. How did that happen?
No, absolutely not. Well, what happened was I had done 3 Broadway shows. I did, 3 Broadway shows, and I was always singing and dancing and doing musicals. And I screen tested for a movie that brought me out to Los Angeles. It was a film opposite Richard Gere in a movie called Blood Brothers. So I landed that job and thought, do I want to stay? Do I want to go back to New York? And I thought, I'll give it 6 months. So I started auditioning for things, and I didn't get anything, but there was a casting director who really liked me by the name of Joel Thurm. And he brought me in. He said, you're totally wrong for this part. They want a 35-year-old Italian New Yorker. I was 25 at the time. And he said, and she's supposed to have a 16-year-old daughter. And so, that's biologically impossible for you, but there's something about you that reminds me of, I know you could hold your own with these guys. So he kept bringing me in. I was the only girl in the room that was anywhere near the age I was. And they liked me, but they kept thinking, well, but is she really Elaine? Is she really Elaine? Now, in the meantime, I had a contract with a completely different network to do a show. And they kept me from the other networks as a result of this contract. And they paid me every month while they looked for something for me. They offered me a part, but I was in Rio with my boyfriend at the time. And I said, I don't want to do this as part of my contract. I'll only do it as a guest star. There's a pilot called The Paper Chase. I came back because they said, you're doing it as a guest star. I thought, okay, I'll come back. And when they tested The Paper Chase, I tested higher than anybody else, but I had already honored my contract doing another pilot for them. So they said, well, we want her for Paper Chase, which was a great thing to say to the taxi people who were trying to figure out, do they want me, do they not want me? They thought, we like her. She's too young for the part of Elaine the way we envisioned it. Maybe we'll write something someday for her. And my agent said, no, she's going to leave you for Paper Chase. So you have to know your own worth. You know, I was like so scared. I thought, oh, I'm going to be out of both jobs. And they said, no, hold fast and hold firm. Know your worth and figure out what you really want to do. And I said, I really want to do taxi. And they said, okay, we're going to tell them they have to decide right now. So they did, and they said, okay, we love her. She gets the job.
And that launched a career. So we're about finished, believe it or not, with this segment. It went by like super fast, but that's okay because we got 3 more segments coming our way. We're going to close out this segment, and we're going to come back with Brisk's Buy or Bail. But first, we're going to have a word from our sponsor. So we'll be back with you in 2 minutes.
A strong heart is a happy heart. Your body's systems depend on a healthy cardiovascular system to thrive. Without a healthy heart, you could experience symptoms like fatigue, aches and pains, dizziness, or shortness of breath. Youngevity developed Ultimate EFA Plus with a proprietary balanced blend of essential fatty acids. We started with flaxseed oil. It's been shown to improve the elasticity of arteries and support healthy blood pressure. Next, we included cold water fish oils, rich in omega-3s that can promote a healthy cardiovascular system and even increase levels of good HDL cholesterol. Then we added borage oil, known for its powerful anti-inflammatory properties. Blended together, these essential fatty acids provide you with the optimal blend of nutrients to help maintain normal cardiovascular health. Ultimate EFA Plus, the right nutrients to improve your heart health naturally. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Understanding your microbiome can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Ultimate Microbiome by Youngevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Super Greens is a one-of-a-kind blend that's loaded with hard-to-find nutrient-dense superfoods. We've used what we've learned from our more than 20 years working with mineral-based nutrition to create one of the healthiest, plant-based nutritional products available. Each superfood was carefully selected so that it complements and enhances the others, helping to maximize Super Greens' nutritional power. Next, we added a specialized fermentation technique to increase the bioavailability of each superfood. Finally, we put in powerful probiotics and enzymes for added digestive support to give you jam-packed nutritional support. Youngevity Super Greens, the highly alkalinizing super supplement that helps balance your body. It's the superfood-powered way to get more organic fruits and veggies in your day, all in just one scoop. Check with your Youngevity distributor to learn more.
Paying attention to your overall health also means focusing on the command center of it all, your brain. Factors like stress, lack of sleep, poor diet, a sedentary lifestyle, and the bombardment of pollutants and toxins can all diminish brain and neural functions. When was the last time you concentrated on your brain health? Synaptive by Youngevity is a cutting-edge, unique brain support supplement that delivers powerful nutrients both immediately and throughout the day. Its anti-stress nutrients provide instant brain-boosting support that helps with mental focus and cognitive activity. To enhance your body's neuroprotection, Synaptive's full-spectrum antioxidant blend targets 6 major classes of free radicals that inhibit brain function. This powerful nutrient combination also promotes healthy blood flow to the brain. Synaptive, optimal antioxidant neuroprotection and support for a healthy brain. Now that's something to think about. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Welcome back to Briskie Business. This segment, we're going to do Brisks, Buy or Bail. And this is about the decision-making process. And it happens no matter what career path you're on or what business you're in. Every single day, you have to make decisions whether to go forward with something or bail on it. That's why I call it Brisks, Buy or Bail. So I'm so fortunate, and you're so fortunate, that we have Marilu Henner with us, and she's going to be with us the entire program, and we're going to chat with her about her decision-making process when she does a buy or bail. Marilu, jump back on the program with me. So here we go. In your career, obviously, you've done a number of different things, different roles that you were going to take on, even different business opportunities. You've written books, you've done so many things. And in each one of those situations, I'm certain that you went through a process that helped lead you to a decision whether to go forward with the project or to bail on it. Why don't you tell us first about what that process is for you and how you go about making those types of decisions?
Well, it's really funny. You know, when you're younger, you tend to put all of your faith into the people who represent you, or you put all of your faith into like, oh, I'm just so happy to be working. Let me just do this. And then you find yourself on a location or working with people that you never should have said yes to. Or a manager, like in my case, a manager early on in my career, when I was on Taxi and I was offered the opportunity to do something I had always wanted to do, and I'm still kicking myself that I didn't do it. I was offered 3 times to host Saturday Night Live early in my career, and my stupid manager at the time, he was like, no, you should just, if you're just going to, if you're only going to do television and it's just going to be Taxi, because we want you to do movies and everything else. And then you do movies and sometimes they don't work, and the movie business is so crazy and different anyway. And how many movie stars have done Saturday Night Live? So he was very myopic in the way he thought and totally wrong. So yes, I definitely bailed on that decision to do it because I listened to him, but then I definitely bailed on him and got rid of him, as quickly as I possibly could. So sometimes it's the people in your life that cause you to want to bail and you make the wrong decision. I think what you have to do is always listen to your inner voice, especially if you know who you are at a certain point in your career and you feel like, no, this is not going to work, or, oh my gosh, it's working with a great actor, or it's working on a great character, or it's working at a great location. And even if it doesn't turn out the way you wanted it to, there's some life lesson or something that you've pulled into your life for some reason that you're benefiting from.
So really, at the end of the day, the reason why that decision got made wrongly for you, and I think you thought you bailed on the wrong thing, was that you actually weren't really listening to yourself. You were listening to someone else.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, and after a while, you have to listen to that inner voice. And we know sometimes, we cloud it and everything else. With the noise distracts us. But if you've been in a business for a long time, there's that gut feeling. And sometimes you do things. Dave, I love that all of your segments have B, like your name, because my number one theory, and I've had it since I was a teenager, it's the key to your life is how well you deal with Plan B. Because Plan A is what you hope for, you dream about, you gear up for, but then B happens, and you can either be dragged kicking and screaming into B, or you can say, what's around this corner? What's going to give me a better opportunity? Every major thing that happened to me in my life, from Taxi to writing books to Michael, my third and final husband, all the great things of my life have been Plan B. So, you just kind of learn to listen to your inner voice when it comes to embracing Plan B.
And I agree wholeheartedly, and I think that's a good lesson. Let's talk about books. You've written several. That had to be a buy or bail decision. So you've written 10 books, right? Tell us about how you even got into even thinking you wanted to do that, and what the decision process was for a few of them, maybe.
Okay, so what happened was I went to dinner one night I always knew that I wanted to write, and I always kept diaries, and I was always writing things. I was a good writer in high school and college. And so I was out to dinner with the head of William Morris at the time, and he said to me, "You've had such an interesting life. I want you to write a book. I'm going to introduce you to Judith Regan, who is over at HarperCollins." So I went to Simon & Schuster. So I went over to Simon & Schuster, and she and I went to dinner, and I was on the Letterman show that night. She came to Letterman with me. We were supposed to have dinner, like an early dinner. No, it was lunch. We were supposed to have lunch. Then I was doing Letterman. We did not leave each other until like midnight, and by the end of the time, we were like talking. She said, "You have to write a book." So I started writing a book. In the middle of it, she left Simon & Schuster and ended up getting her own imprint. Simon & Schuster, she ended up with her own imprint. So then I went with her to her new imprint. Each book is like having a child.
So if I interject, so for you, really, there was a connected relationship that took you down the path. That's how you knew it was right, in this case.
I really believe that you don't become a success in this business until, and I say this with quotes, someone falls in love with you. Someone has to be your champion. Someone has to believe in you. Someone has to take a chance on you. And, they don't fall in love with you romantically, but they fall in love with the ideas that you have, or something that you feel in your heart you're connected to. I think authenticity is probably the most important thing in any business. And you have that gut feeling that tells you, this is what I want and I can handle it. So I think she and I became very good friends. I became godmother to her son. And I think that she took a chance on me, and the books started just coming one right after the other. I was doing the Broadway show Chicago and wrote a book about health, and would be, putting on eyelashes going, the evils of dairy products, as I was recording in a little microphone, and then would go to an office afterwards and type it out. My boys were very little then. They were 1.5 years and 3. And the book came out, and it went on the New York Times bestseller list like that. And it was shocking but I think it was because it was a real story. I think that, being genuine really reads through to the public.
What was the title of that book?
That one was a Total Health Makeover.
That's a great book. Yeah. I've read that book.
Thank you. Yeah, it sold well over 1 million copies. I got a certificate and everything. Yeah.
So, it's funny, it keeps coming up. So, it's funny when there's something weaving through your program all the time.
Sure.
And all the smart people that I've had conversations with, they all kind of say this, and you just did. And I call it a brisk bit, and it flashes up, which is find people you really like to do business with or love to do business with, and do more business with them. And it sounds like you've found that happening throughout your career as well.
Absolutely. I've been with the same agent for a long time. He started as my agent's assistant, and we've just gone from place to place. And right now I have about 6 different agents, because I work with 4 different agencies for different things. But you find people you love, and you create relationships. I'm all about family anyway. And so, I'm always trying to turn everything into a family, whether it's the taxi guys or you and Sunshine or my own family or even my ex-husband's families. So I feel feel like you've got to find people that and may bring out the best in you, because then it's like 1 + 1 = 3. I mean, not, it's kind of hard to say that mathematic equation in like a business thing, but it really does, because there's something else in it.
Well, actually,
some kind of heart.
It's actually a perfect thing to say, because when you're making these types of decisions, or you're looking to merge a business together, at the end of the day, if 1 + 1 just gets you to 2, then you're not able to leverage other assets. So you really want it to be 1 + 1 = 3, right, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So it's a good business term, and I think most strong business people are looking for those types of relationships to come together to give you a greater strength together than you would be separately, right? And that's when we know we've got good business opportunities. So you've done the book writing, you've been on Broadway, you've done so many different things. But is there one thing that you really, it's just your passion more than another?
Well, I do love writing, and my kids, of course, and my husband, but are great passions. But I think I still want to create. I still want to originate a very, really meaty, dramatic role, because I've never gotten to do that on a television series. And the one time that I played a villain, I loved it. And she doesn't have to be a villain, but she just has to have something very dramatic at stake, and some very, I mean, I love comedy. Believe me, it's so fabulous. Or I'd love to do another Taxi kind of thing, where you've got an ensemble piece. You're shooting in front of a live audience. You create a little play throughout the week, and then you put it on in front of people, and you're lucky enough to have it recorded. So I love that. I love Broadway.
I know you, and I've seen you on Broadway. You're amazing. I wanted to bring that up. You talked about, and I can see why you might want that ensemble piece or the Taxi, because my goodness, that cast of Tony Danza and Danny DeVito, oh my goodness, and that whole crew. Actually, all of you have had incredible careers. Do you keep up with those
still
folks?
Working. Everybody. We were all on a Zoom call, because it was Jim Brooks who created the show and created The Simpsons. We were on a Zoom call with him last Saturday, all of us, all 6 of us, and Jim, so there were 7 of us on. And everybody's working. Everybody looks great. Judd was saying, we should just do Taxi again. But people keep saying we'd have to call it Uber. But,
that is absolutely right. Well, that is good. And I imagine that camaraderie that you get in a kind of a weekly show is different than probably anything else that you've done. That's kind of cool, especially that crew.
And I think you always have to be reinventing yourself. I mean, it's a business, and you have to always check in with yourself. What is the commodity I'm selling now? How can I be the best version of myself, so that I can do the kind of parts that I want to do, so I can present myself, in the proper way, so that I am representing what it is that I want to say to the world to my characters.
Absolutely. So listen, believe it or not, this goes by quick. You know why? Because we know each other well, and you know what? You're very, very interesting and easy to listen to.
You.
So this concludes the segment of Brisk Buy or Bail, and we're going to come back with Brisk's Bulls and Bears and dig a little bit into the public end of the business. We'll be back on Briskie Business in a minute.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
As you age, factors like health, weight, diet, and lifestyle can all impact your bones, joints, and general mobility. Over time, you might start to experience stiffness or pain due to damaged joints or connective tissue. Ultimate Gluco Gel by Longevity was created to help you limit the effects of wear on your joints. It delivers a daily dose of collagen-rich gelatin your body needs for joint elasticity and maintenance. Ultimate Gluco Gel contains a 1-to-1 ratio of gelatin and glucosamine sulfate, which is a key building block of your bone matrix, cartilage, ligaments, tendons, and connective tissue. Gelatin's unique blend of amino acids not only help with muscle and joint health, but also has been shown to provide additional benefits for the brain, skin, and hair. Ultimate Gluco Gel. Natural, optimal daily support for joint health. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Paying attention to your overall health also means focusing on the command center of it all, your brain. Factors like stress, lack of sleep, poor diet, a sedentary lifestyle, and the bombardment of pollutants and toxins can all diminish brain and neural functions. When was the last time you concentrated on your brain health? Synaptive by Longevity is a cutting-edge, unique brain support supplement that delivers powerful nutrients both immediately and throughout the day. Its anti-stress nutrients provide instant brain-boosting support that helps with mental focus and cognitive activity. To enhance your body's neuroprotection, Synaptive's full-spectrum antioxidant blend targets 6 major classes of free radicals that inhibit brain function. This powerful nutrient combination also promotes healthy blood flow to the brain. Synaptive, optimal antioxidant neuroprotection and support for a healthy brain. Now that's something to think about. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
And I'm excited to bring Marilu Henner back onto the program for this segment of Brisks, Bulls, and Bears. Marilu, so let's dig into this a little bit. Everybody has a different strategy, and I don't even say there's a right and wrong way to do it as long as you're doing it. And we're talking about investing, and specifically this is a public market section. And most people invest when they have a portion of their portfolio is somehow in one of the public vehicles, NASDAQ or New York Stock Exchange, although there's many other ways to invest. This is about public markets. And so I'm curious, obviously, I'm sure you invest in the public market in some way. Tell me what your strategy might be for investment. Do you use an advisor? You do it yourself? How do you make this go?
Well, very early in my career, especially after I got on taxi and I started to make a little money for the first time in my life, I decided I would work with a business manager. And so I worked with him for 32 years until my husband, I married Michael, and he works, he's more like a business manager type now for me. But early on in my career, and we still, even though Michael takes care of a lot of the financial records, I still work with someone who has given me an investment portfolio. So I know where my money is going. Every month I get some kind of printout. I'm somebody who likes to know information, and I think a lot of times I've seen more actors, especially people who have just been taken for a ride by their business manager. That business manager collected the money, but they didn't pay the government, taxes or anything else, or let stocks completely die. I think you have to be conscious. I think you have to be fluid. I think you have to read the room, and you have to ride the wave. And you have to know, am I a conservative person? Do I want, 60-40 to play with? What are the percentages of what I want to do depending on what the market is like, And I have a great investment because of my house. So always have kept that. And, I think that's been a big part of my portfolio as well.
I think that's terrific, and I agree with you on riding the wave. I think in this new normal that they'd call it, when we look at public markets, companies getting decimated for whatever reason, obviously in a situation like that, there are opportunities as well for companies that are just maybe in the right place or the right time.
Right. Look at Zoom. I mean, it's crazy what's happened to Zoom since the lockdown, and who knew that Uber was going to become what it has, or Grubhub, or any of those companies,
Yeah, I mean, I see a lot of people using an app called Instacart right now to get their food,
Yes.
right? So there's opportunity out there if we'll pay attention in the public markets. I've heard you say this on another program before, that companies that you look to kind of bail on from even a public market, we can talk about this from investments, is companies that ride the wave of complacency. What do you mean by that?
Where you feel like there's no movement whatsoever, because, I've never been from the school of, oh, keep quiet and they'll let me live, or I'm just going to stay at 0 on the number line because I don't want to take any chances and maybe I'll just stay at 0. I've never been that kind of person. I'm conservative with my money, but I still like to see who's doing something that maybe the rest of the world hasn't figured out how to do yet. So I like companies that have some kind of movement. You're hearing about them. They've got a good publicity, whatever, and they make sense. It's going back to that gut instinct thing. It's going back to saying, I'm not just going to listen to a business manager or an agent or whatever because they're telling me to do this. How does it connect with who I am? What is that? What do I have to say? I've been offered a lot of money from a lot of different companies in the health field, but because I don't believe in them or they're not part of my brand, I want nothing to do with them. I've turned down more money than you could possibly imagine because I wouldn't be being true to myself. So,
well,
you have to be able to know what you want.
And you've said this, and I think you even said it in an earlier segment, you're your own commodity at the end of the day. Marilu Henner is the commodity here. And so if you can't be true to yourself, then you're actually destroying your product, right?
Absolutely. And people can smell someone who's inauthentic like that. They can. And you don't have longevity in this world, or any kind of business that you're in, if you're not connected to what it is that you're saying, if you're not walking the talk, and if you're not connected to what it is, how you're living.
You have this autobiographical memory, which I've spoken to you about it many times, and for the life of me, I can never understand it because obviously only 12 people in the world or something like that have ever had it. So your memory must be really, really important to you. It seems like you've been able to leverage that God-given memory of yours, but maybe people don't even know what it is. Can you describe that in like a minute,
Sure.
what it is?
Sure. I'll say it real quickly. First of all, everyone has an autobiographical memory because they remember things about their own lives, but most people remember only 8 to 11 events within any given year. I have what is known as highly superior autobiographical memory, or HSAM, which means that I remember virtually every day of my life. The criteria is 200 plus, but I scored in the higher range. But anyway, so if you gave me a date, I could tell you what day of the week it was and what I was doing on that day. And there's something about having a memory like this. Hopefully, anybody who has any kind of memory, you want to be able to use it to keep yourself from doing the same mistakes over and over again. Because that very famous quote about insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
Yes.
I always say it's not insanity, it's bad memory. Because if we pay attention and we remember the red flags, or, oh, that didn't feel good, or oh, I didn't listen to that little inner voice, you're going to, if you don't do that, you're just going to be tripped up all the way. So it's definitely a gift. And I have leveraged it into a New York Times bestselling book, a television show that was on for 5 years called Unforgettable. I go all over the country speaking about it. I do one-on-one memory sessions. And so I'm very grateful to have this and to be able to use it. I always say, create a vacuum and then fill it. Create a vacuum and then fill it. My vacuum was, I have this memory and now I get to fill it.
I use it in business acumen all the time. Talk about leveraging your core competency. That is a core competency you have, and how many things you could do with it. I'm just wondering if it's possible that there might be a product that you might take that would be good for supporting your memory.
Are you kidding? Synaptive from Longevity is amazing. It's like for brain health. It's unbelievable. I mean, I've gone in front of Congress and spoken about brain health and Alzheimer's and us against Alzheimer's and trying to get more money for research. And there's this incredible product that I take it every day. My husband takes it, and he needs it a little bit more than I do. But yeah, it's a great product.
Well, you've got something to protect, obviously, in a big way. I know. What do you think about? I know you're intimate with our company in terms of what we're doing, and you keep an eye on us. What did you think about the company when we pivoted into the hemp space? How did you think about that?
First of all, it's such an incredible natural product. I mean, hemp is so. I just ordered hemp sheets. We've got to do hemp sheets over there. I love hemp is a great, strong, natural product. It grows. It's sustainable. It's fabulous. And, with this, I injured myself during this. I think because I've been doing so much housekeeping and laundry and grout cleaning during the lockdown that I injured my thumb. And the only thing that was getting me through it until I could have an MRI and figure out what was wrong with it or go see my hand doctor, the only thing was the hemp cream, the CBD cream. And it was just amazing. It just got me through my entire day. Yeah,
I think I'm a fan. We got into that, and you brought this up, and I know it's probably a little bit self-serving, but it's a big industry that we think is going to be, multi-billions of dollars. And I think it goes back to what we were discussing a little bit earlier. Companies that are riding the wave of complacency, that's one way to look at it. But what about companies that are looking out for those big opportunities that are right in front of us? And can we leverage our core competency to make it happen,
Absolutely. And paying attention to what's going on. You have to pay attention to and read the room. Say, okay, I'm needing this. Who's doing that? Or how do I do it? How do I connect myself with a company that has a little bit of what I need and want? And now maybe I'll bring my expertise, or I'll put my money behind them, or whatever it is. I mean, it's very important to pay attention to understand what is going on in our world now, because we're in a new it's changing normal was the name of my book with Michael, and we have changed our normal, and we better not think we're going back to the old normal, because that's not going to exist anymore. But there are opportunities there.
You're absolutely right, and I think that's you've exemplified that throughout your entire career. I mean, you have been in and put yourself into so many things, use that incredible energy of yours, that incredible mind of yours, and just always seem to be passionate about whatever you're doing. And I think that's absolutely terrific. And let's face it, those new projects, they excite us. They get us going. So.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, you have to wake up and smell the coffee. No, you have to wake up and enjoy what is. Not enjoy that people are sick or whatever, but enjoy in yourself the opportunity that you might have that might make this world a better place, because you can use your entrepreneurial skill and you're not feeling just victimized.
Absolutely.
That's the biggest thing. You can't feel like a victim, because if you do, you're just going to implode. And, that's not going to make a better life or world for anyone.
Absolutely not. So we're finished up with Brisk Bulls and Bears, and I knew you'd knock it out of the park. You have such great things to say. And we got one more segment left, and hopefully you can stick around with me. It's my favorite segment, Brisk, Best and Brightest. We'll be back in a moment on Briskie Business.
Paying attention to your overall health also means focusing on the command center of it all, your brain. Factors like stress, lack of sleep, poor diet, a sedentary lifestyle, and the bombardment of pollutants and toxins can all diminish brain and neural functions. When was the last time you concentrated on your brain health? Synaptive by Longevity is a cutting-edge, unique brain support supplement that delivers powerful nutrients both immediately and throughout the day. Its anti-stress nutrients provide instant brain-boosting support that helps with mental focus and cognitive activity. To enhance your body's neuroprotection, Synaptive's full-spectrum antioxidant blend targets 6 major classes of free radicals that inhibit brain function. This powerful nutrient combination also promotes healthy blood flow to the brain. Synaptive, optimal antioxidant neuroprotection and support for a healthy brain. Now that's something to think about. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Understanding your microbiome can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
More and more healthcare professionals and people seeking alternative and natural health treatments are turning to hemp-based products because of the growing body of research supporting its benefits. Longevity has leveraged our years of natural plant-based nutritional research to introduce 3 new products. Hemp FX Soothe helps support muscles and joints by enhancing a healthy immune response and reducing free radical stress. For optimal results, it contains our hemp-derived CBD plus the powerful antioxidant glutathione. Hemp FX Relax helps ease the mind and the body for a deep and restful sleep. We combined our hemp-derived CBD with melatonin to help support your best night's sleep. To help support positive energy for your mind and your mood, we created Hemp FX Uplift. In combination with St. John's wort and a specialized set of terpenes and cannabinoid enhancers. To learn more about Hemp FX, contact your Longevity distributor or visit hempfx.com.
Welcome back to Briskie Business, and we're entering the segment Brisk's Best and Brightest. The segment that we really get to mentor you. It's all about mentorship, and I'm excited that I've still got Marilu Henner along with us, so let's bring her back onto the program. Marilu, there you are. And you know, it's perfect actually for you to talk about this, because the target that I really see this Brisk's Best and Brightest, not that it doesn't work for everyone, certainly can work for parents, but really that just out of school, just out of college student, up that first maybe 10 years of their life. And you've got some children in that two of them in that mid-20 age. So we're really speaking to them. So from a mentorship standpoint, you know, what kind of advice are you giving your own kids right now in this crazy business world that we happen to be rolling through?
Well, you know, it's funny. I mean, because it really starts young. I mean, you know, my boys always had an allowance. They had to do certain things, so they had a good respect for money. And they also saw their mother working at home, writing her books or going off on location, and they would come with me, or they went on the road when I did Annie Get Your Gun. So they always saw their mother working and their father working. He's a very successful director in show business. And so because of it, I think they always had that sense of what do they want to do. They both want to be in show business, and so they're out in the world creating their own lives. But it starts young, and I think because so many people, and I see it, Dave, on sets, I see it, the people who have this, like, I don't want to work hard, I just want to be a star, or I just want to have the top job, I just want to make a lot of money, but they have no concept of how to get there. They're not entrepreneurial. They're waiting for parents or the world to hand them something, because maybe their parents always did. And it reminds me of a book that I wrote years ago when my boys were little. It was called I Refused to Raise a Brat, because I did not want to bring brats into the world. Now, I grew up with a mother who used to say to us, if anybody in the family would say, I'm bored, she'd say, oh, you're bored? If you're bored, you're boring. And then it was like, oh, I'm not boring. It's like, well, then you better be a self-starter and find something that you can do. You know, so my boys grew up with the attitude of, you're going to be the first one there. You get a job, you're going to be the first one there. You're going to be the last one to leave. You know, if you don't know what to do, clean the break room, create a job for yourself, become totally indispensable. And every company my boys have worked for, they've always wanted them back. And they all had jobs. They both had jobs all through their high school and college years. You know, and I think it's very important to have this healthy respect for hard work, for understanding that the world is not going to hand you a living, for starting at an entry level and being so invaluable to the company that everybody wants to keep you. And for, as I said before in an earlier segment, you create a vacuum and then you fill it. You don't know what to do, create some job that nobody can believe you can do, and you become indispensable, and then fill that job. And then people will be like, oh, I always want to work with that kid. My son, Nick, the first job he had out of college, he worked for 6 months on Godless. It was a miniseries, and it was like 6 episodes. It was unbelievable. He did everybody's job. He had a chance to do everybody's job, learned what he wanted to do, and he was a troubleshooter, just like my father was. And people thought that he was the producer. They thought he was the head guy because he was involved in so many of the different parts of it. And you can do that in any business. It's all about you, what you bring. You show up, you not only show up, you show up to play, you show up to work hard, and you have a healthy respect for the team around you, for the job that you're doing, and for your sense of time and what you are bringing to the experience.
You know, my favorite piece of Hamilton, I love Broadway, you already know that, is I love the line, I'm young, scrappy, and hungry. And you basically just described that line to a T, and it sounds like you've instilled that in your boys. I had I call this a brisk bit, and I've been saying this my whole life, and it sounds like you're in the same realm as me as we talk about this, but it's set your goal at being a 5%er. The top 5% always enjoy great success. And I mean that across the, if you're the top 5% of plumber, you're wealthy. If you're the top 5% in garbage, waste management, you're a billionaire. Top 5%er, figure out what you want to do and just be in that top 5%. What do you think about that?
Absolutely. And be open to learning. When you first, let's say you want to be, whatever it is that you want to do, a plumber, you're going to have to learn the craft. So you better pay attention. You're not just going to be in the top 5% without any skill set. So whatever it is that you're focusing on, you develop that skill set and you have that passion and that love for whatever it is that you're doing. But know that nobody's going to just hand it to you, and you better have a healthy respect towards as a student, homework and being a teacher, your teachers and homework, because the rest of your life you're going to have some authority figure until you're the boss. And then you're going to have to respect the people around you. And I love what you were saying before about the, what I call it is the juice, those little moments in your life that give you the juice to just keep going, whatever it is. And one person could hate I love to drive. My ex-husband hates to drive so much that my boys would call me when they were spending a weekend with him and say, Mom, can you take us to this party? And I'd say, Dad's not far from that, and you're with him this weekend. Doesn't he want to drive you? And they'd say, Mom, Dad's a trip to the West Side away from a heart attack. So some people love to do things and someone else hates to do the exact same thing. Know what it is that makes you feel that kind of really good doubt moment.
I hear you. So let me ask you this, just a little off a gap moment for a second. How important it is in this climate with what's going on to take chances?
Oh, well, here's your opportunity. You might as well test the road, because here it is. I mean, you're not going to do the tried and true. You're not going to be doing the same thing all the time anyway. And now, if you ever felt like you wanted to do something different, you have no excuse. You've got all the time in the world to figure this out. Whether it's whatever it is. Let's say you always wanted to do something in a foreign country, or let's say you wanted to do something for, learning a different language or cooking or whatever, and that's where your passion is. This is your opportunity to do it. You can't be afraid. You can't be afraid of mistakes. You can't be afraid of plan B. You can't be afraid. You can't be fearful, because being fearful is only going to paralyze you. You're going to be stuck at 0 on the number line, and you're never going to move forward. Sometimes life is 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, 10 steps forward, 8 steps back. It's constantly moving, but as long as it is progressing in a forward motion, even the setbacks you learn so much from, and you might have, the setback may have taught you something about yourself that you take to the next more positive experience, whatever it is.
I agree wholeheartedly with that. I think I heard you say this before, and I hope I don't butcher it, but I thought it was a quote like, liquid is the labor
No, you did butcher it. All right, let me tell you what happened. This is Liquid is the Labor. No, my son Nick, because we're living together now for the first time since before he left for college. I graduated from Columbia with honors 3 years ago. Anyway, 4 years ago. Anyway, so he said that I never stop moving. I'm always fixing and organizing and doing things, because I'm doing most of the housework here at the house. And he said, Mother, you are like liquid labor. You are always filling all the corners like it's a vessel with water or something, but it's liquid labor. And I said, oh my gosh, I know you meant that as an insult, but I'm so complimented by that. I might have to write a book called Liquid Labor, because it's so about seeing what needs to be done and then doing it. What needs to be done, doing it. This has to be fixed, fixing it.
Liquid
labor. This has to be said, say it.
I love it.
Whatever it is.
So a liquid labor. Okay, I did butcher that, but I'm not butchering this one. Another thing you've always said is motion is the lotion. I know you said that.
A lot. Yeah. Motion is the lotion, whether it's exercise, whatever it is. So let's take just exercise as an example. It just keeps everything lubricated, your joints, your attitude, all the little cells in your body, your all the fluids in your body, and it's so your lymphatic system. Motion is the lotion. So movement. But motion also means your career, your goals. Motion is the lotion. That is what is going to lubricate your future. That is what is going to keep things moist and moving and growing, as long as you are, putting the effort into change, grow, and forward mobility.
Marilu, we have run out of time. We should do a 2-hour program. So anyways, you are amazing. Briskie Business, we're going to conclude this section. Thank you so much for being a part of it. I really enjoyed it. Hopefully we can find time to do it again.
Definitely. Anytime. There's so many more things I want to talk about. So that's great. Thank you, Dave.
This concludes episode 5 of Briskie Business.